Hello YouTube, welcome to Curious Me channel. This is Shabazz Khan, and in this video we will talk about model binding and integrating model binding with our MVC project that we are currently building. Now, I have already discussed model binding in a huge detail. You can use this link to learn more about model binding in depth. Now, before starting my app, I need to show something to you guys. Now what I can use here is .NET WATCH watch run. Instead of running .NET run, I'll use .NET watch run. Now, this watch was pointed out in a comment in my previous video. She pointed out a very good thing that I can use this .NET watch run and it will automatically recompile whenever I'll save my changes in this terminal. So let's start this. Okay, so here it says that the compatible SDK is not installed because I keep updating all of these things, and as you can see here I have the latest Windows that I'm running, Windows 11. So let me quickly check what version I am in. Now the current version is 5.0.302. all right, so what I'll do is I'll go to this global.json. I'll simply update that version here. Now save it. Let's run the same command again, that is .NET watch run, and see it says watch started. Now basically this command keeps track of all of the files here, and whenever you hit Control S or whenever you save anything, it again refreshes your website, and we'll see that. So as you can see, our website has started, and here you can see our website is up and running, and this is part of the playlist that we have been building, and you can use this link to go to the playlist. All right, okay, so now I have opened both of these side by side, and basically I just want to show it to you while coding. Okay, how the save works. All right, now before starting with this, as you can see here, this is our app that we have been building, and we have created before the model binding tutorial, what we did is we created a form. All right, create post. Now this is the link to the form, and here you can see the style is a little bit off, and also every time I need to come to this form, I have to type in the URL. So what I'll do quickly is I'll quickly arrange this, and I'll quickly add a button here. Now to change the style here, I'll navigate to this create post.cshtml file. As you can see, this file is located inside this blog and create post.cshtml, right? Now once I'm there, what I'll do is I'll change this SM2 to SM3. Now just to show you guys what will happen when I'll save this file is I'll simply press Control S. And the moment I pressed Control S, you can see here, the watch again, it restarted, and you can see we have this here. Now why this changed line is simple, because 10 plus 2 is 13, and I have to decrease the size here because in Bootstrap the size is like this entire page is divided into 12 parts. All right, so I have to make sure that the count of every call SM is not more than 12. Now let me save it again, and you'll see that this page, see here you can see the symbol, and it reloads, and we have something like this. So again, this button is also the same. So what I'll do is I'll increase the size of this button as well. All right, now we have a good form. Now let's go back and let's try to add a button here which will redirect us to this form page. All right, now to add that button, what I'll do is I'll control B, and I'll go to this is index. So what I'll do is I'll go to the index page. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll add anchor tag, and then I'll add a ASP tag here, and I have already discussed tag in previous videos. You can check those videos here. So in that action, what action I want to go to is the create post action that I have created inside this block controller. So this is the action that I want to go to. All right, now create post, I'll go back and I'll simply add create post action. The second parameter that I'll give is the ASP controller, and the controller's name is block controller. All right, now we are done. I'll simply add one thing, that is create. Okay, so this will be displayed. Now one more thing that I'll add here is the class for Bootstrap. Now what this Bootstrap will do is it will give me this kind of style. Here you can see the button. So I'll simply add btn small. So these classes, they will convert my simple anchor tag into a good looking button. As you can see, nothing is here. So basically I messed up. Maybe not small, maybe something like primary. Let's see. Okay, so now we have this create, a very nice looking button here. Okay, so when I click on this create here, it tries to submits this form to our create post action as a post method. When I go here, there is no create post method with post action. All right, nothing on top, no attribute on top means get action. All right, so what we will do is we'll quickly create an action. Now this action will accept whatever value we give here, and then add it to our database or whatever storage services that we have configured in our backend. All right. Now, this is where model binding was important. Hence, we discussed model binding in our previous video. Now, what I'll do is I'll simply add a blog post class that we have already created, because this CSHTML here, as you can see here, it has model posts. All right, it binds model posts. So what I'll do is it will also send model post to the action. So what I'll do is I'll simply use that post. I'll name is that post. All right, now what I'll need to do here is I need to create a function to need to use a function to add this blog inside our post. Okay, now that function should be in this blog repository, or we already have created blog repository. It has a certain methods. What we can do is we can right click on it, go to implementations, it will open this file. Now here what I'll do is I'll have to add, let me hide this quickly. Here what we have to do is add a method. All right, now before adding a method here, what we have to do is we have to go inside this blog repository. You know, like we already discussed this is part of dependency injection, and you can watch this video for dependency injection. Now what we'll do, we'll simply give it a bool, and the method name will be simply add blog. Okay, and blog post class as parameter blog. All right, so this is what we want. Let's save it, and you can see already we have an error here. Simply click on it and implement interface. This will add that action automatically here. So this is add blog. Okay, now what I want to do in this function is to add a blog in our database. Now in our case, the database is this default list. We will configure our database once we are done with entity framework, which we will discuss in upcoming videos, right? For the time being, we'll just add this blog in our list that we have created here. All right, before adding this blog, what I'll do is I'll first update the ID. All right, so I'll use the lists that I have to get the maximum. You know, this is not a standard procedure. I'm just writing something down so that we can successfully add it. Of course, we'll change this later on when we integrate our, what do you say, backend or database here. All right, then we'll remove everything and we'll do everything with respect to database, not hard coded. So once that is done, I'll simply add this in the list that we have. So now our method is done. We have created a method which is known as add blog. All right, now let's get back to our controller. And in our controller, we should have action to that method now. Here you can see add blog. All right, now inside this, I only have to do one thing. Just pass in the blog that we have. This, sorry, not blog, post, sorry. Okay, so we added the post here. One more thing that we need to do is, once the post is added, I need to redirect the user to the view. Now, what do I mean by view is this. Once the blog is added, you need to show the user, hey, you have added the view. This is the view that you have added. All right, so let's quickly do that. Now to do that, what we will do is we'll simply return redirect to action. Okay, now the action that we need to redirect to is, I think it is this get post. All right, yeah, so this is the get post by ID. So basically we need to redirect to this get post action. All right, and the parameters that you need to pass. Now in our case, what parameters we need to redirect to this? Wait, okay, yeah, so basically what I am trying to do here is, sorry, I misspoke earlier. Once the blog is created, we will redirect to the read view blog. All right, not to the blog page. Why? Because we need to show the user what they have added. All right, now when you create the blog, you go to the created blogs ID. So we'll go to get post, and I'll simply pass in the ID that we have created, that is post ID. Now you must be wondering, hey, we are creating ID there, how can we access the ID here? It's because the objects are passed by reference, so you should have the access to the ID, and we'll simply redirect to this method. All right, let me save this blog and let's see what happens. Oh, it says multiple endpoints are matching. Why? Because see, we have two endpoints with the same name. Okay, now even though we have different overloads, MVC will not create it as different, because you have to explicitly specify that the verb for this is HTTP post. Okay, now it should work. Now I saved it And again, you can see this symbol, it's loaded. Now let's go ahead and add our very first title. So add new blog. This is to test blog method. Now I'll hit on create, and the moment I hit on create, what happened here is the blog got added in our list and we got redirected to this URL. To see the URL, I have to, as you can see, we got redirected to this URL. That is basically we are trying to redirect to get post, but because MVC is intelligent, this MVC knows that we have this configuration where we, where we, for all the blogs, we have, beautified the URL so that we don't have to add the get post. So what it is doing it is redirecting us to blog/4, which looks very neat instead of looking like this. So get post. Okay, so it does not give user a good, a view. So instead of get post, I should show user this /4 or the name of the URL. Okay, for example, add new blog. It looks good. So anyways, I digress. So this is your new blog, and when you go back, you'll see that this is the blog that you have added is here. All right. So yeah, this is how you integrate. Now, one more thing I'll like to add here is by default, wait, let me go to the controller. Now by default, everything that you send goes as a form. It is not going as a form data, but sorry, it is not going as a JSON data, but rather as a form data. All right. Now I can show it to you. So let's go here. Let's go quickly, not source. Let's quickly inspect this. Now, once I inspect this, I'll try to add something. All right. So just some gibberish I'll add. Don't worry about it. Because the purpose of this is to show you how the data is going. Now I go to the network tab and I'll just create it. All right. Now, when I go to this create post inside the header, you'll see how our data is going. Okay. So this is going as a form data. And when you go and see the view source, now don't worry about this huge token, because this huge, let me quickly, at the bottom, it will look better. So don't worry about this huge thing. This is anti-forgery token. So don't worry about it for now. We'll worry about it later. So this part here, it is going as a text form data. And this is I guess X URL form encoded. Here you can see XWW form URL encoded. We already discussed all of this in our previous video, which is a detailed in-depth dive in model binding. If you want to understand what these things are, you can go watch that video out. Otherwise, just flow with the just go with the flow. So basically, all your data is sent like this, title and all of these things. Okay, and MVC takes that and converts it into this blog post object. Okay, and then it is very easy to work with that blog post object at your backend. So I think this integration is clear. And since this is MVC, this is going as a form data. All right, because we are using this controller. And if it was an API, we would have been using this API controller. Okay, and the data that would have been going from here that would be not form data, but rather JSON data. Okay, because the front end that we have created is also in MVC. So it is tightly coupled. The MVC is tightly coupled. Form data goes from the backend itself. Okay. So anyways, let me quickly remove that. Now there is one flaw. If I click on this create directly, okay, see what happens. You get an empty blog without anything, and you get only this date because we set this date in the backend, and hopefully you'll also get this ID here because we also add the ID in the backend. Okay, even though we have null, you can see this null blog got added. Why? Because we don't have any validations in place. So there comes model validation, which is also an integral part of not MVC, .NET Core. Okay, now we will discuss model validation in our next video. Otherwise this video will get very long. So yeah, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys liked this video. Yeah, and hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, bye bye.